Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Woo! Yeah, Friday night live stream. Yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. Ah, good to see you, Mr. Head.
Good to see you, DJ. Denny in the house. We're gonna go to
Yeah,
Denny's
Denny in the
tonight.
house.
We're having Denny's
Oh
tonight.
yeah. You know what? What a fun week it's been. I mean, I can't believe it was like 7 days ago that we recorded. We're like, we got to continue our conversation from where we picked up. So, welcome back to North of Normal. And where we last left off, we were talking about the simulation and AI. And Tyler, I believe you had mentioned that you kind of compare the entire simulation theory to the Matrix, yes?
I think that's a great representation of how it could be possible in the future, or even how our future, our current, our present could be encapsulated. It's a really good theory.
Okay. Whereas I'm of more of the gaming theory that we make video games for fun, to go into a world that doesn't exist, to take our minds off of whatever, much the way that people go to the movies to watch a movie or go to a sports game to watch their favorite team. Gamers just happen to be people who want to be playing the game instead of watching it being played.
Mhm.
So, by extension, I don't like the idea that we're in tubes being fed to robots to power them up. You know what I mean?
But what would be the intended purpose of a simulation, right? What would be the intended purpose of this simulation world?
To escape whatever world we're in.
Is it
like we escape our world into video games?
So like we're a video game
to
something
really
else?
Sucks, and this is supposed to be the improvement on whatever that is.
Now there you can experience it like a video game, right? Like GTA or something. So
sure.
Are they creating this world to jump into it to live out like a GTA life?
Oh, you're talking about if they're plugging in round the clock.
So you're saying it's a game? No, you're saying you're saying it's a game, and that means that they can enter it and be a character, like a character that plays in the world, and then jump out at any time.
Yeah.
So it's just like for fun. So it's like a simulation sandbox, not an experiment.
Yes.
So okay.
Something that kind of freaks me out though is, what if we're not NPCs and we're not run by individual people controlling individual characters? What if we're run by like regions, for example? Like somebody's playing on a big game of Risk online, and they can select this group of characters, and it'll highlight everyone in Ontario. They can say, go to work, do your job. Or highlight this group of 5 friends. Become skaters, go practice at the park.
But life doesn't really work like that.
I know, that's part of the NPC part of it that really fucking bothers me. There's a lot of NPCs out there.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think that it's controlled that way. I still feel like everyone has a free will, but you have to adapt to your society, right? So like you have to go to work at 9 to 5, right? So you have to adapt to survive. It's not that it's not that like they just select a big group of people like on Age of Empires and they're like, okay, you go work. It's no. It's like these are just a bunch of
why not?
Because that's just not how it works. In GTA, you can track like an NPC from their house to say go to work and then back. They take a walk around the block, you know. But that's all they're programmed to do. They don't have free will, right? And then, you know, with free will, this is the thing. If you're like the people in charge that influence people through media, so like let's say the news, what if those are the aliens trying to manipulate? And they're the ones that are the observers. That's how they observe. They enter and then they manipulate and try to get you to go one direction or the other based on like, I don't know, there's a war in Iraq. So, you all got to spend money and pay towards Bush, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't have direct influence, or do they? And if they do, that's kind of when it comes in. It's like, what's the point? Are they doing it just for entertainment? Are we a TV show? Or is it just to stimulate emotions, like in the Matrix? Everything in the Matrix world simulation is just to stimulate emotions from these real humans that are in the pods. And when they have real emotions, their bodies like quiver in the pods, you know, and then it generates electricity and heat, which keeps the robots alive. But the humans don't know they're in that simulation. But they all have free will. But they all have free will.
But what if everyone in Zion in the Matrix, not in the Matrix.
No, it's not in the Matrix. Zion, that's in the real Earth. That's in the real Earth.
Yeah, in real Earth, in the movie trilogy, The Matrix. There's no fourth movie. It's a trilogy. Actually, you know,
I liked it. I liked it.
I kind of did. I like Bullet Time especially, and
the computer programs would evolve, would advance, and make themselves obsolete, like an Agent Smith trying to like being too powerful so that they have to contain it, so they bring in the analyst instead.
Sure. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. Programs would evolve, and if you know anything about the Matrix, there's iterations, generations. So like by that time, it was like what, the 6th or 7th iteration of the Matrix.
By the 4th movie, it was the 8th iteration.
Yeah.
Iteration? Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because it gets reset. Like the Matrix simulation gets reset, and then people don't even remember that it got reset. They don't even know. It's just like...
Yeah. And then Neo thinks that he's like a 65, 70-year-old guy. It's like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
He's still Keanu Reeves. This doesn't make sense. And he doesn't even look the same visually.
And it almost becomes so referential when they put like he's working on the video game The Matrix, because that's kind of like, if you had this history and you were all powerful, you might remember it. So why not cloud that memory with just things that you were working on right in the now? So it's the programs trying to confuse the one who is basically Neo. He's his own program at this point.
I like that idea. I'm just more in the case of the simulation theory.
Yep.
I'm more on the side that it's all a simulation within a simulation within a simulation.
So then
and when you go all the way up to the top, there's an alien who's about 13 years old. He's got his baseball hat on sideways. He's a bit of an asshole, and he just presses enter on his keyboard and he goes, huh. And then he presses escape. And then that 2 seconds of him working on his high school project is what made all of this, every single bit of it, all the way down to the bottom.
Could be. I mean, you'd have to work to the quantum level, right? Like everything would have to start functioning to a quantum level. Like are atoms ones and zeros? Molecules ones and zeros?
Is there a smaller level within quarks, even further, that we can't see? And is it like the Men in Black with the alien playing with the little marbles at the end, where the whole universe is in a marble?
Mm-hmm. That's kind of how it probably is. And the thing is, it's almost like Rick and Morty, that episode where they're a battery within a battery within a battery.
Yes,
which intends that there's a purpose. That insinuates that there's a purpose. So there has to be a purpose if there is a simulation world that we're living in, I would think. But are we ever going to know? No, we would never know, because we can't break our dimension.
Well,
come talking to the mic.
There was like a video of a scientist, like a quantum scientist, who like did a lot of research on the quantum or the simulation theory, and he somehow in some math, I haven't watched the video in a long time, but he said like the likelihood of us living in a simulation was actually like really, really high.
It's because there's so many variables we don't know. Anything's possible.
If we show even 1% of improvement on technology, then and that's in 1 year, and we get 100% improvement in 100 years, in 100,000 years, we'll make an AI for every single character in any given game, full sentience, and at that point, we've created a new reality within our game. So we've confirmed that we can do it, we just need the time to do it. So because we can do it, have we done it already?
Now the thing is, too, if this is a simulation that we're living in, then time moves faster in our place for them. So for them, time is moving super slow, but then when you observe us, because we're at the quantum level, it's moving super fast. So like our time to them is nothing. So are we an experiment to develop technology or to develop media? What are we designed for?
Wait a minute. So you're saying because a computer can do like let's say 1 trillion calculations more than a person at a certain level or of whatever it may be.
I'm just saying like things work
for enough time.
things work at a different speed when you get to a quantum level, like a smaller level. Things move faster. That's why you have like CERN. You know, CERN has to shoot these things super fast to break them apart. It's the only way to do it. And then when they break apart, then you can observe them. That's what they do at CERN. So I think that basically we move at such a... I guess another example would be in The Grinch. Do you know about the Who's?
Grinch.
Do you know the Who's from Whoville?
I do know the Who's from Whoville.
All right, so they're living on a snowflake at the microscopic level, if not beneath the microscopic level. Now, if they survive, how many Christmases has Whoville gone through, would you say? It's like it's Christmas 24/7 in Whoville, I would say. And they have Christmas maybe once every year, whatever a year is on a snowflake. Maybe it's 2 weeks. I don't know, but we'd have to ask Dr. Seuss about this. But basically, we will never ever see the ending of their lifetime. But that snowflake, from the whole movie, from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, that snowflake just dropped like a millimeter.
I didn't know this about the Grinch.
So if you think about, it's almost like an inception of the mind, but you have to think about perspective and how time works when you get to different scales. So
So, like The Sims.
it's kind of like the quantum mania of Ant-Man. If this was a simulation, you would be able to speed up our universe too, and we wouldn't even realize it, like The Sims.
I agree with what you're saying about us being able to have a game or a simulation or something that we make, which we can put into double speed. Then if you go back to what I was saying about a simulation and a simulation, what's double the speed of that one and double the speed of that one and double... When you go through enough simulations, things start to get very unbelievably fast compared to what it is up at the main level. So
Yeah.
I completely agree. So that kind of leads into a whole new thing that I never even thought about until you mentioned speeds.
Yeah, like if
Which
you
is-
think about like the Whoville,
Yeah.
right? What's the speed that snowflake travels in, let's say, a year's time? Is it only a foot? How fast is it actually traveling
Right.
on the human scale? And then above that, like again, you could get like even
It
deeper.
snows in Whoville. There are snowflakes in Whoville that's on a falling snowflake.
Yep.
It's getting smaller and smaller and
It-
faster and faster.
And actually, in Dr. Seuss's The Who's, like there is like tiny Who's, like tiny ones that have like a home and a tiny home in Whoville.
Really?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
So
Who would have thought we would have led the Matrix into Dr. fucking Seuss?
I'm just saying, Dr. Seuss was pretty ahead of his time. He knew what he was talking about. You know, he's very existential, but with a kid's tone.
What if that's the purpose of this simulation?
So-
It's some kind of a time experiment.
So that's the thing. It could be an experiment to see our entertainment for their purposes, or it could be an experiment like in the Simpsons episode where Lisa creates a whole civilization inside of like a bottle cap. It could be like that in a
Yeah.
petri dish, rather.
Yeah.
It could be something just as simple as that. You know, it can get really crazy if you really think about it. But I don't know. Do I think that this is a simulation? If it is, it's more like the Matrix. I'm gonna predict. But we would never know until we're breaking the Matrix. Can you break your programming? How do you do it? With willpower, like the Matrix, or how? Just meditation? Or does it take like an NP or one of these aliens or observers to come up to us and then start interacting with us to be like, oh shit, we just interacted with another dimension? Will it ever
Yes.
happen in our lifetime? Who knows?
In Star Trek, there was an episode where the Enterprise was over a planet that was unpopulated.
Mhm.
And they were simply observing the planet.
Yeah.
And they parked up there for like 15, 20 minutes and they ran a scan. And, you know, they went and got sandwiches and came back. They ran another scan and there were cities built down there. The planet itself had its own little time sphere
Mm-hmm.
where time was moving like 10,000 times faster for them.
Mhm.
And if they could leave the surface of their planet, they would resume the normal time of everywhere else. So during those 20 minutes, like 20,000 years had passed for these guys. Meanwhile, all the time, they were looking up in the sky and seeing the Enterprise there saying, what is that?
Mhm.
And waiting. So just observing them created the
the
kind
spark,
of the drive of the civilization.
the spark
that
of
spark.
ingenuity, seeing like geometry and
Yeah.
shapes, and like, oh, there's exhaust coming out of that. What's creating that? And then they develop it. Yeah,
Yeah, man, I love that shit. That's fucking cool.
that's a good episode, man. That makes sense.
Mhm.
I was gonna say, with Star Trek in mind. Well, I guess another. Well, first, one thing. Have you seen that movie where they go to Interstellar? Have you seen Interstellar, where they go to the
Yeah.
planet? Dude, that planet is next to a black hole, which warps time because of the gravity. So they're there for like an hour, but that's actually been like 50 years on their planet.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
time can be manipulated like that, which it really scientifically can, then
Yeah.
obviously anything is possible with time and manipulating it and whatever this is.
So why would God do it? I believe in God. I just don't believe in any God that's made
What?
by man.
Talking in a podcast, then
I feel like
Oh, I was just saying, you know how like when you were a kid, it felt like a day was like super super long, and when you were like waiting for something or whatever, and now as an adult, like a week feels like a second.
there's actually a scientific explanation for that, though.
I was gonna say, is that just because you're getting older, or is it because of something else?
It has to do with your total memory storage.
Mhm.
So when you're born, your storage is 0. Then when you're 10 years old, you have 10 years of storage, and 1 year of memory makes up 10% of your total storage. So it's easier to recall things because they just happened for you. And then for a 40-year-old, that 1 year of life only makes up 2.5% of their storage. So it's not that they can remember less, it's that they can remember it as such a short period compared to their longer observation, that a 70-year-old observes 1 week at the same rate that a 10-year-old child observes 1 day. It's a 7 times difference from your total memory storage.
It's the reason you get
that's
better
cool.
at things over time.
Yeah.
So like when you get better at things, you don't have to think about, oh, what am I doing? You skip all that. So in a day, you skip thinking, oh, what do I have to do in the morning? Because as a kid, you don't have like a sought plan, and then your week is booked, then your whole year is booked, etc. So when you've gone through like multiple years of that, it just becomes part of the rigmarole. You literally have to just imagine, do something new every day and stretch out your days by blowing your own
Yeah.
mind.
I'll finish my whole simulation thing by saying I don't believe in any God made by man. I believe that there is absolutely a creator and a greater power to the whole universe itself. I just don't like slapping a name or a label or a price tag on a religion made by people. I don't like that.
You know, as far as religion and as far as all my research has gone with civilizations, our history on this planet, which is our civilizations being backed in years more and more every day with more discoveries. So
Yeah.
like, our
Yeah.
technology is so much different than the technology they had at a different time, but we have a lot of remnants. One thing that I can definitely say is if it's religion, it's usually based off of an event or to pass along knowledge from a certain time period. Take that as you will. Like the Quran has like a mapping of the human body in it. Literally, like that's just to continue civilization. When you throw a prophet on it, that's when it starts getting a bit weird. You know, just take knowledge for what it is, from all books.
Explain how so many religions, like, that weren't able to communicate like we can communicate now, have the same, like, figures or the same, like,
Oh,
ideology or
great
whatever.
question. I'd love to get into that. We could talk about the Egyptians talking about the chariots of the gods coming down, and Zeus coming down in his chariot with the Greeks. Everywhere around the world shows that some creature at some point came from the stars, and it's like, man, why is this embedded in us? It's just so neat to think about.
And there's actually a lot more proof coming out every day and day that maybe these religions, when it comes to like Greek gods and Egypt gods, might actually be real with visitations to the planet.
Yeah. Why are there pyramids all over the world at a time when the whole world hadn't even been mapped by these guys? How did they coordinate? They wouldn't have.
Like
it
Graham
just-
Hancock, if you know about that guy, and like
I do. Yes.
So then you probably know that, like, with all his research,
Very learned man.
dude, it's connected all around the world, and they all have the same like story of survival to create something, passing down of knowledge from a guy on a boat coming to them, you know. And that's
Yeah.
his thing, is that maybe that was a civilization that survived, had a lot of technology, and then as civilizations were kind of depleting with the ice age, they survived and then carried that knowledge onwards when things started getting easier to travel. That's the theory.
Have we talked at all about the building of the pyramids and one of the possibilities being frequencies and how they used dung beetles to levitate rocks?
I don't know about dung beetles, but I know about levitation and frequencies. How you can like move an object through sand just by like having it move and shake, like the Flash.
This is fucking cool, man. Can you pull up a video if I link it to you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Throw
Because
it in
people
the
are
Discord.
like, why would they worship the dung beetles? And what the
So
fuck?
is that like a method of pushing something upwards with your back legs?
No.
A dung beetle?
The
'Cause
shell
I don't know if.
dung beetle. They're two wings that open up.
Okay.
If you put one on top of the other, they don't touch. It's woo woo.
Okay.
And you can float heavier objects on the top one without them touching.
How heavy have they
So
done?
if you had
tests?
10 million of these and you laid them out on a field, you could roll a gigantic rock. You could just push it like this, just gently, and it would woo, 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 all the fucking way across.
Theoretically,
This is
has
new.
anyone tested this? Because if it's
Not theoretically. This is on YouTube and shit. Yeah.
This will be the
Oh,
third
50
video
seconds in.
in the Grebennikov video replication
I
series.
don't like how this.
Today we're going to try to get one of these shells to hover over the other one. The original of this video is what inspired me to do this series. So I hope you like it. Let's get started.
Упала. Начинается опять. Выше
Dung beetle
подняла.
wings do this because of something.
There must be a reason if they do.
More recently, we've been able to recreate the exact material of their wings on a larger scale and then add weight to it. And that's where it's like, holy fuck, what if they did some shit like that to float the giant stones? Like, it's entirely fucking possible. Look at that. Oh, shit. Here we go. Yeah. This, yeah, there you go. Look at that shit, man.
I'd have to see more convincing research, but I think the thing to think about would be how much weight can that bear before it's weighed down
Yeah,
too much,
yeah.
and then how many would you need, and then from there it's like, what are you gonna put all these in a vat, like hundreds of thousands of these beetles in a vat, and then carry things across large distances?
Why not make one that's 500 feet long, and then
But
you can
then
just-
but how do you move the
what-
vat then? Then when do you move the vat full of these bugs?
you make another one that's 500 feet long. You make 100 of them that are 500 feet long. Now you've got fucking
Make
50,000
what?
feet that you can fucking move,
Like-
and you can just throw your rocks at one end and
So
have them
you-
slide to their
Wait,
location.
you would rip the wings off?
So there was like somebody who made or tried to do this like in times where there was a camera, but nobody's ever been able to reproduce the results of what he tried. So like the whole dung beetles can levitate things, like nobody's ever been able to levitate anything from a dung beetle.
Since this
How did this guy do it just here? What the fuck?
Well, like that, but like carrying heavy things like stone, nobody's ever been able to reproduce anything like heavy or of mass other than another.
Oh.
What about the guy that lives in Michigan that moves entire ton stone blocks with just like a finger?
Leverage. Yeah, I like that guy.
Like that guy's a G.
He's got some good shit going on.
So let's throw that one on here. Like this guy has so many videos, and he can actually move large blocks just with a little bit of proper leverage.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this is just the closest we can get. I don't know. Like the scarab
4,000
beetle
years
wing
ago,
thing seems
Stone
fishy.
Age Britain cracked. He's
Yeah, look at this guy go.
building
Yeah, yeah.
Stonehenge in
Geometry?
Flint, Michigan
Dave, there's
backyard
got some big
to prove
old
it.
rocks there.
Wally Wallington's not a scientist, but he knows a thing or two about moving rocks.
That's a 300-pound block. This is a 1,600-pound block. Not too difficult.
He's a retired construction worker whose passion is
Yeah, look at
moving
that.
Yeah,
heavy
yeah. This is the guy I've
His
seen
feet
before.
always draw a
He knows
crowd.
his shit about
Mostly
leverage.
family.
He's fucking
I thought
smart.
he's crazy. Who cares about moving blocks around? But then when you look at the magnitude of the weights that he's moving around, it is really impressive, and he's not using any equipment or anything.
In playing with blocks, Wally thinks he's discovered how Stonehenge was moved.
This is my first Stonehenge arch I permanently put in place. It's 3 blocks. They weigh over a ton each.
1-ton blocks
Yeah, if you
to
could
building.
honestly, if you
Look
have
at
sand,
To a pole barn
Motherfucker!
if you have sand in
Shit,
the
yeah.
equation, right, and then you have
And it was more or
sand that you
less,
want to
you know,
equate
what
and
else
then
can we
move
move?
things
And
over sand, you would
he looked at me and
literally
said, "Hey,
have
can we
to
move your
shake
barn?"
things
And I
over
said,
it,
"Sure,
like in the
let's, you know,
desert when
next thing you know, it's 300
things move
feet
across
in
the
other
desert
direction onto another piece
on their
of
own.
property.
Even
It
like big
can
move
rocks.
fast.
Have you seen that?
And Wally's betting it moves stone.
I have.
Yeah, so the
yes.
big rocks, they literally are in the desert. They move on their own because they freeze or the ground freezes and then it moves, it slides on this frozen like sand. So I mean, who's to say that a vibration like if your phone's vibrating on the table, it'll move. It'll go. Brrr,
Yeah.
brrr.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
who's to say you can't do that inside of sand or on top of sand? In fact, that might accelerate
I love that.
moving. I would think it would
Yeah,
accelerate the moving of things.
I think that's a fucking very valid point.
But you know, dung beetles and their wings, I think that's so fishy. That's kind of like somebody needs to like take a whole bunch, breed a whole bunch,
No, that video.
put them on a paper, and then just see what you can levitate with it. Because I don't think that.
That video
Yeah.
you watched is static electricity. So the whole theory came from somebody named Victor who claimed that these dung beetles could levitate him and rocks. But the thing is, he now claims that it throws off some space-time continuum, and that whenever anybody tries to actually do it, they can't record it because their recording all of a sudden stops working. There's no actual proof to it.
Well, dung beetles can lift like 1,000 times their own weight too. So there's
I
got to
mean,
be
so
something
can
to
an
that.
ant.
It's like,
So can an
Yeah.
ant. Why don't you
They
just
have their own
strap
little
like? Why don't you
But that's-
tie
Nice.
like 1,000 ants together and you get them to move a block?
But that's also
yeah.
that's also just bugs carrying things. That's not levitation.
But the whole thing is trying to find alternate methods of moving large, heavy objects
How are you
to
gonna
create a
train-
pyramid.
How you can't just
I
take
really
one
fucking
and
like
go.
the floating the stones method that we've seen, you know, in the last 10 years or so, where they've proven that it only takes a little bit of weight, wood-wise, tied to a very large fucking stone, and it'll float. And if the Nile River did in fact run, and they could simply divert it over, they could have floated everything, and then had a channel up the side of the pyramid that they could continue to build on, where they would float it up, float it up, float it up. Have you seen that before or no?
No, that doesn't sound.
Get the fuck out of here, man! This is
doesn't
cool.
Sound good. This doesn't sound plausible.
Oh, I know, right? But they've built it. They've built models of it exactly how it would work, and it totally fucking checks out, which is weird.
So I mean, there's a bunch of things that we will never know because the government of Egypt is kind of ridiculous. They don't let even researchers study things that really should be studied. They're kind of preventing history from being rewritten. They don't like it. So
Yeah.
I think that the pyramid was an old like power station, like a nuclear power plant, but not nuclear power. Obviously, some other form of power. Maybe it's, you know, literally heating water through the channel of the Nile River. You know, and if you know this, every pyramid has a channel or a stream of water that goes through the bottom of it, the very center and bottom. Around the world, I'm pretty sure is the case.
The full length video, which is like 20 minutes long, has people building a pyramid that's like 10 feet tall, doing it with this method, only with wood and water. And they were able to completely construct a pyramid to scale relatively fucking quickly. I sent you the link on Facebook.
But when it gets crazy is like when you start talking the dimensions and the size of it and the perfect like math that goes into it and how perfectly split the blocks are on top of the other blocks, like where they melted together.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of
It
questions.
covers that as well. Because they would have to be airtight so that water couldn't escape from the upper channels as you were loading them up there. Yeah. And what they would do is they would
They have
have
conveyor
chambers that once they cut the rock down to a certain size, it would float like 2 miles or 5 miles through this one area that just progressively got smaller around on all sides to get it to that right size. And then they would spin the rock at the end to get the ends, and then they would continue to float it down the river to the pyramid. What was that thing? Tentacle monster Japanese. What the hell did that say, Tyler?
Just
in your
avoid
search
that. Don't
history
look
there?
at that. Just don't look at that. Like, just block that. You know. We're really built. Let's see.
Woo! Yeah, reload.
Does the physics even physics in this?
It really does, yes.
Because nobody knows. So
I'm really shocked that you haven't seen this one yet.
In the theory
'Cause this is
video,
about 12
we
years
showed the
old. Here we
basic
go.
principles of getting the massive limestone blocks from the quarry all the way up to the pyramid construction site and then up the side of the pyramid using flotation in simplistic terms. But in reality, if a water lift extended from the ground to the top of the pyramid,
how did they get the
with
water up
only
there?
a gate at the top and at the bottom, the water lift would break because of the huge pressures created by the weight of so much water. To combat this, Chris proposes multiple gated locks in 50-foot segments, extending up the water shaft.
With locks!
The upshot of doing this is that each section would only be subjected to about 2 bars of water pressure. Also, this would decrease the compression on the floats used to lift the blocks up the shaft.
It seems ridiculous, but they've built this. They've tested this. It works.
It doesn't seem
That's
like
the
it would
fucking
work.
craziest.
It really doesn't seem
I
like
know,
it would.
Be
right?
continually moved upwards
No, I
in
wanna
threes
see a
and
person
fours
building-
between each set of locks.
Sure. I'll send you that right now.
Because it doesn't seem plausible.
I know. Keep watching, because they explain how the, like, while I pull up the video of the guy actually doing it, they show how they get the water up there as well, everything, because it never fucking rains there.
No, but back in the day it would have. So Dennis, do you know back in the day in Egypt when the pyramids were built, it would have been rainfall a lot and it'd be like a lot of greenery there? Do you know that?
Finally,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so
Fuck
like-
yeah,
at the
dude.
top of the
Of
pyramid
course they had a lot
construction
of
site,
water.
ready for placement.
I mean, the Sphinx has a lot of rainfall on it, like wearing it down. Okay, so I don't know. Let's see. And a person actually does this, you say?
Yes. Many people have done this. I'm just trying to find one good example
How
here.
about this one? I think I found part 2. Do you see part 2?
Yeah. That I think that may have been the one I was going to send you. Guy with a blue bucket. Yeah, sure. We can go with that one.
All right.
This simple experiment
yeah.
shows 2 of the principles used in my theory.
I'll tell you, on a small scale, things might work, but when you play
The
it
air
into
pressure
bigger scale
the
on
surface
this
of the
planet
water
called
is
Earth,
greater
some
than the
things
pressure
don't work.
of the water in the glass. This allows the water level to be elevated and for objects to float to the top from below.
Yep, but not big
Demonstrated
stones.
here with matchsticks. Now to scale up the experiment.
This is
Even
like
with a
listening
much
to a
larger
flat
glass
earther,
container,
dude. I'm just telling you.
pressure
Let's
is
try
still in
it.
effect.
Let's try
and
it.
raises the
I'm
water
open.
scale.
I'm open. I'm just telling you, this is like listening to a flat earther, though.
We know that certain things will float in water.
By the way, dude, did you hear
Such as
about them sending
matchsticks.
people to Antarctica? There's a bunch of flat earthers, and they're like, okay, wait, there is a 24-hour sun, guys. We're sorry, we were wrong.
Yeah.
Eric
Yeah,
Dubé,
yeah.
Eric Dubé almost went, but then he declined because he would be denied, and all his money stream and revenue would be taken away. So
I don't want to see them float pencils. Float the bricks, for fuck's sakes, guys. Show them how it works.
From top to bottom,
So, okay, so,
experiment consists
alright,
of a
yeah.
tube
So
filled with water from top to bottom, an angle to match that of the Great
Looks like
Pyramid.
it's only about like maybe 9 to 10
Both ends
feet,
of the tube are
10 feet
submerged
tall,
in
maybe.
tanks of water that represent
Sure.
the pyramid.
No, but there's a
precinct.
difference when you start getting
and
to
the
like
upper
30
channel.
feet, 40 feet, then water plays
There are
a
also
bigger,
3
different
locks
role
installed
with
in the
gravity.
tube.
Because the pressure
If
as
all 3
well would
locks
be
are open,
higher at the lower
the water
levels,
will
which is
escape.
why they started to use
So it is
locks.
vital to keep
And
one
that'll
lock
change the
closed at
pressure
all
and take
times.
away that differential on the way to the top.
But then you'd have water
Chris's
escape.
son is going to demonstrate how easy it is to
Then
send
you'd
the
have water
limestone
escape.
blocks to the top of the water shaft.
No, it wouldn't escape
use
because
3
the rocks
limestone
are
blocks,
so accurately
again
cut that
floated
they are
using
completely
simple bubble
airtight.
wrap.
And this doesn't make
Luke
sense though.
closes the
They're not
bottom
using
lock,
ton
and
blocks.
then
I want to
opens
see
the
this
middle
with
lock,
ton blocks, bro.
allowing the blocks to float effortlessly to the
What?
pyramid
Are
construction
you
site.
gonna give him $1 million so he can scale it for you? These are full-sized fucking bricks that he is floating up a fucking stone wall.
I don't.
If it
Are
works
they
at this
full-size
scale, it'll
bricks?
work.
They don't look like full-size bricks.
Well, I don't know if you fast forwarded or went just a little not far enough.
Oh, here we go. It's coming up.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah,
So that isn't a full brick. That's just a
Now for something
flotation
bigger.
device.
that's a
This is a
flotation
large,
device.
long
Yes.
piece of limestone rock that will be floated using cedar wood instead of air.
Limestone and cedar wood. Will it work?
Even though this
Can he
object is
float
large
a
enough
brick
to fill
of
the
fucking
diameter of the
limestone
tube,
up an angle?
still
It
To
depends
the
on the
top of the
buoyancy.
pyramid?
It depends on the buoyancy of the wood. And also, it doesn't look like. It looks like they're having some trouble there.
Good. Then he closes it so that the pressure will remain because the pressure will be higher at the lower chambers. Now he has to lock this one as well so that the pressure will stay at the lower end. It fucking works.
This experiment has demonstrated the basic principles behind
Does
the
it?
theory that can be found in Chris's
Does it
brand new
work?
book.
It's a
Pyramids
a
of Egypt.
rock.
No. Do you see?
Floating up
No.
the
Let
top
me
buoy.
let me point one
Yeah.
thing out for you. They had to use way more wood than the block weighs. They had to use like double or triple the amount of wood than the block. So are you
So
saying
what?
how
They're
big
the
is
size
this?
of bricks that are to scale in that video?
But
then.
how big are the blocks that they put into the chambers in Egypt onto the pyramid? Gigantic. So how big is this
Yeah.
water reservoir that hangs off the side of the pyramid? The in the pyramid
Large enough to
also.
take 3 times the size of one of those at least.
Okay, and what
that's
side
fine.
was that done on? What side would that have been done on?
The side facing facing the fucking Nile.
And why would they disassemble it after creating it out of block? Like the device or like the chamber that would allow these locks to be
Why?
built.
Why fucking keep it? It served its purpose. Fucking get rid of it.
You would see remnants. You would see remnants of it after. You would be able to see where it was on the structure because it would have to be hardwired into the structure, which means it would have to have giant blocks itself vertically stuck in to keep itself in position.
I like the idea that they built it up one block level at a time because it's slow and it works out mathematically. And then they could have just taken them off at the end, one at a time, the exact same way in reverse. Wouldn't be hard. You just slide them down with half the amount of wood and push them out into the water. That's it.
Question, Dennis, how many sides on the pyramid are there?
8.
Yep. Yeah, did you know that?
Hell yeah.
Okay. So it's a big difference. Like, because there's 8, it would have to be perfectly geometrically aligned to be able to do the thing with the equinox, with the shadows and everything. If they had a lock system built in, where are they putting that? Dude,
Well,
where are they
what do you
putting
mean?
that? And they're not
They'll
taking
put
it
it
out.
on-
They're not taking it away.
It's in the full 1 hour video of exactly how the lock works, how they load them up, and how they build up to the next level, one level at a time. And it's like fucking it's easy.
I would like.
That's the thing that
I'm
really
not
pisses
convinced.
me off, is how easy it is.
It's not
I'll send
easy.
you the full 2 hour one that you can watch another
Okay.
time.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
has
the
like
full
8
2 hour.
million
We'd have
views
to
or-
watch another time, but
Yeah. Yeah, these guys weren't slaves building the pyramid. These guys took pride in that shit. They loved building the pyramid. They're like, this shit's awesome, man.
it's good being a slave when you get fed, I guess.
They weren't slaves at all.
How do you get workforce that much?
It wouldn't take that many people if you're floating rocks. You're not dragging rocks. You're not using elephants. You're using sculptors. Guys like who made fucking Notre Dame. Come on.
Back
They love
then?
this shit.
Yeah, it was probably a passion project for sure, but still, I'm iffy on that whole method. I'm iffy on that.
I think I found one that to scale shows how much wood would be required, because you can use wood of different densities, and then you can use like a 50-50 amount of wood to the rock that you're floating, because the rock has a buoyancy that's canceled out by the density of the hardwood.
Again, you'd have to have these pretty big pieces of wood floating.
They have these pretty big pieces of rock. They could build a chamber that's 1/100th the size of the Great Pyramid and still build the Great Pyramid with that. That's like saying you can't have a crane that builds a building because the crane can only lift one little piece at a time. There's cranes out there! Fuck!
They didn't have cranes back then, though.
Because they used these instead.
And then how did they?
Oh,
so wait. Okay,
man,
now how about this, Dennis? Okay, so let's say this is right? They floated them to the top. Then from there, how did they manipulate them around to perfectly be in alignment and everything?
That's in the 2-hour video, but
Okay.
it shows how they line them up, and specifically how they would have to remove the wood, because once you do, you've displaced the water at the top by that much as well.
Okay,
Which
I'll
leads
have to
more
watch that
problems.
video.
How do you seal it in? Yeah. They've covered all of it, which really pisses me off. I want it to be aliens just using a levitator and building the pyramid in fucking 10 minutes. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Or not a levitator, a tractor beam. Tractor, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, so
Fuck yeah.
Another thing I wanted to mention, they've been able to do teleportation now.
I've heard about this.
They moved molecules from Earth to the ISS. They teleported it. Did you know this? They actually teleported
Superpositioning
molecules.
And what's it called? Superpositioning and quantum entanglement.
So
Yes.
the thing is, for teleportation to really work, and why Star Trek, this might have been what's happening every time they get teleported, is you have to disassemble the molecular structure and then rebuild it from scratch at the destination point. So that means you are disintegrating and killing yourself, and then being reborn as a clone, let's say, in this teleporter when it rebuilds you.
You're 50% right, because in quantum entanglement, every atom or every electron out there has another one that is its opposite. And if you have one of these one of these atoms right here on Earth, and the other atom is 100 million, or not 100, 100 light years away, and you destroyed this one, that one would instantly die because they are quantum entangled. That's faster than the speed of light by 100 years. It's instant. So in Star Trek, when they teleport you, they're technically taking the other pieces of your quantum entanglement and superpositioning them to where you'll be and disintegrating the original copy.
So another good example, have you seen Willy Wonka and
your pieces?
Have you seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah.
So the original. So do you remember when Mikey TV he wants to go into the TV? So they literally he disappears, turns into a bunch of molecules that float in space. That was just a visual representation of not being able to see all the molecules, and then him being rebuilt in the TV teleporter.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't hear what she said there.
I said if they proved that you can teleport someone and then they're essentially rebuilt or cloned, then that kind of further proves the quantum immortality theory, where like if you die, then you don't act like you die in one universe and you like hop over to a different one and you're still alive in that one.
Oh, I've heard about that. I'm not very well versed on it. And
There's
I don't
like
understand
stories
enough
of people who have gotten into car accidents or gotten hit by a car or like gotten like there's one really like popular one where this girl was like on a ski trip and like something weird happens where all of a sudden they like either can't remember something or they get lost for a little bit and then all of a sudden they're like back and everything's fine. Or like where someone is like trying to pull out of like I think a McDonald's and then they never actually ended up pulling out of the McDonald's even though they remember getting into a car accident and stuff. So like if you die in this timeline, then the theory is that you jump to a different one where you're still alive.
Meh, I don't like that because then it's your consciousness jumping into the other consciousness's body that didn't make that
Yeah.
bad mistake. It's yeah. Anyway, since I got both you guys side by side over there, I'm gonna tell you about a new movie that's been announced. I teased about this earlier.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
Michael Bay is working on a new movie. Did I tell you who gave him this idea and they're going with it? It's
you didn't say
official?
anything. So what I want you to do, Dennis, is for this segment, I want you to totally explain what the premise of the movie is. Like, start from however you want to start. Explain it.
Okay. So just go crazy talking about what this movie is?
Yeah, just start describing it, and then we'll see what's going on. And then you can say he got an inspiration at the end, of like to trail it off or to finish it up.
Okay. So we know Free Comic Book Day is coming up. I believe it's on May 3rd. And
13th.
They've been teasing that they're going to be releasing a very specific comic this May 3rd, specifically to promote a new movie that Michael Bay was approached about making.
Is it
And he
like
said,
an
"Man."
original IP, or is it like an old property that is being revived?
Completely original and something that nobody had ever heard of or imagined before, brought to life by somebody who is a true maniac. The name of the movie will be Big Rig. It has the green light. It is official. Tyler, I'm going to send you a picture to the movie art for this if you'd like to put it up onto the screen there. So Michael Bay was hanging out one day, and he's hanging out with his buddy Post Malone. And Post is high. He's real high. This guy's he's higher than he can touch the sky.
Okay.
And he says to Michael Bay, "I've got an idea for a movie, man." Michael Bay says, "What, you got an idea for a movie?" He says, "Yeah." And he pitches him the idea. He knows that Michael Bay likes trucks. Every Michael Bay movie has big old trucks, has explosions. It has to have action and the boom.
And lens
And you
flare.
know, a little element of magic to it almost.
And you gotta have lens flare if you're Michael Bay.
Gotta have that lens flare. So Post Malone says, what if there's like heaven, right? And then there's like a truck that comes down from heaven, and it's a magical truck, and it goes into medieval Europe to fight like endless hordes of zombies. And Michael Bay was like, fucking take my money, Post. So Post is officially going to be starring in this movie called Big Rig, where he's driving a truck that comes down from heaven, a magical truck that comes down from heaven and goes into medieval Europe to fight hordes of zombies. I sent you a picture of the comic book art because the book is coming out on May 3rd for Free Comic Book Day.
Interesting. So that's going to be... Apparently it hasn't been confirmed to
Big
be a
Rig.
movie yet, but you said it was greenlit, right?
No, it's not Mad Lib Fever Dream. Singer Post Malone is teaming up with director Michael Bay for a story about a magical 18-wheeler truck that falls from heaven to save medieval Europe from hordes of zombies. And now the whole thing is officially kicking off with a comic.
So
as
it's a sentient...
announced via The Hollywood Reporter.
It's a sentient Optimus Prime that goes... drops into medieval Europe, so kind of like Army of Darkness, Evil Dead.
Yes!
And
Just
then he
like Army of
starts
Darkness.
hitting the zombies, the Deadites, but it's a car. It's a sentient car, like what
A
is it?
sentient magical car driven by Post Malone. And on his tattoos on his face, he has like crosses because he's from heaven. Yeah.
That's probably something I'll be skipping as far as a movie and a comic book.
It sounds so fucking stupid. I think it's gonna skyrocket, man. People want the ridiculous these days.
I'm probably gonna get the comic book just because you gotta.
I told him that I have a book he could read about sentient things. Okay, so I'm in a book club and, like a book Facebook group. And for a while, everyone was obsessed with this, 100-page book called Squeak. And it was about sentient balloon animals who, turn into humans and, fuck everything.
Really?
When you review it on Goodreads, a whole bunch of other sentient books come up. So there's, sentient Pete books, sentient gummy bear books, And they're all just
Well-
like complete smut books of sentient objects.
So you don't want to prick the balloon animals.
That's awesome.
Fuck. Imagine being a sentient toilet bowl in Emerson's house. It would basically be like being a
Skibbity
doorway
toilet.
for a standard person.
It'd probably be Skibbity Toilet the movie at that point. Emerson and being a toilet.
No, not Emerson being a toilet. It's his means of travel. Remember, he goes
he
down,
slithers in it. Yeah, like Skibbity
and then
Toilet
he
Man.
comes up wherever he needs to. Yeah,
Do you know Skibbity Toilet?
I know Skibbity fucking toilet. Fuck's sake.
So that's Emerson's song.
I think you
They just don't call
Skibbity
it.
fucking toilet.
They just
Gary's
don't call
mod.
it Emerson.
Oh my god. The only thing more disturbing is the hand in Legend of Zelda. Paper, please! Paper! Oh, fuck, that's good.
So, I mean, yeah, sentient. I don't know. I'll probably check out the comic book, and then I'll probably judge it based off of that. But so there's a bunch. I don't know if you know this, Dennis, but there's a bunch of comic books that get purchased for the rights for movies. Do you know about Cowboy Ninja Viking?
No.
Okay, so Cowboy Ninja Viking's an Image comic book that was purchased, and Chris Pratt was set to be the lead star of it. He was supposed to be the Ninja Viking guy, the main character. Have you heard of anything about that, though?
Nothing.
Exactly. So this is the thing. There's a lot of movies from comic books where they purchase the rights just to own the rights right away. But will it be made into a movie, actually? So the thing is, this also happened with something called 8 Billion Genies. Do you know what 8 Billion Genies is?
No, I don't.
Dude, 8 Billion Genies is this comic book under Image Comics as well. It was before even the first issue came out. They said it's been signed to be a whole movie. So they already greenlit a movie. Have we seen anything about that? Not at all.
The Post Malone book would make a very good movie in the scary movie kind of way.
Like if it was campy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
I can
meant to
see
be
that.
taken seriously in any kind of way. It would be good
I-
entertainment.
I visualize it as like a non-serious at all.
Like Gremlins.
Sin City meets like Mad Max. Also meets Army of Darkness. If those three had a baby, I think it would be this movie. Because that's how it looks from like Post Malone is working on the graphic novel right now for it. It's so ridiculous that to not have that movie feels like slapping the world in the face. We need that. We need that like we need The Room too. The
Dude.
bigger room.
I still need to see Big Shark.
I know. When it was here and I missed it, man. Oh. But their announcement for it was so fucking stupid. It was a big sign on the window, Big Shark coming to, in all these theaters, no dates, no times. And then Greg shows up at the fucking theater, Greg Sestaro, and he sends out a tweet, "Hey, I'm at the Rio right now. Next 300 people get to come see Big Shark. Go." And then 300 people swarmed. And that was the only viewing that they had for the fucking movie. There was no announcement for it or anything. So
And
if you
300
didn't see it, you're fucked.
That gets filled. 300 shows up in a minute, so.
Yeah, totally.
Sorry.
Like, damn it, Greg. Let us pre-order tickets, stay in town for a week or two. Come on, man. Fuck. But I hear that it's every bit as bad as we want it to be.
You can't keep doing that. You tap.
What is she
tap-
doing over there? What is going on?
So she's like,
No, I was trying to tap you to get your attention so I could talk earlier, not now.
no. What you do is you grab the mic.
Grab the mic. Grab the mic, please.
You have
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
You can't have me do everything, and don't tap me because it's annoying. Just grab it next time.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to grab the mic. We encourage it.
Yes, absolutely.
You brought like so many good little points to this podcast. It's made it even more fun. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's hop into another topic here. How long do I got you for anyway?
Maybe another. We could do another like 20-30 minutes or something.
Okay. Let's hop into
It'll
some
go
more
by so
topics.
So
You had messaged me a couple of things. Oh, how about wrestling?
Yeah, let's all talk wrestling. Mariah over here, she's ready to talk some wrestling.
Excellent. So you had mentioned that there was a bit of a heel turn for Kevin Owens, which I'm not quite versed in right now, but I'd love to hear.
So for the past, would you say like half a year so far? No, that he's been heel turned.
No, this is recent. This is like within the last 2 months.
2 months? Okay, yeah, so 2 months. Basically, out of nowhere, Kevin Owens shows up. He's like, man, this isn't fair. I can't win the title. It was out of nowhere, and basically what he says is, oh, hey, like, this isn't fair, Cody. Everyone's, like, supporting you, but yet, like, nobody supports me. Everyone doesn't know how much of a bad guy you really are. And then, so he was buddies with him and Randy Orton, right? So then it started with him beefing with Cody and, like, saying, no, everyone's trying to silence me. I'm going to try and tell the truth about Cody. And then, like, Randy Orton, and he goes tries to be friends with Randy Orton and say, hey, man, come to my side. Like, talk to me. Let's talk about Cody. And then they start feuding and fighting. So
the feud actually started because Cody teamed up with Roman Reigns in a tag team. That's when the real heel turn happened. Yeah, he was annoyed that he didn't have a chance at the belt and Cody had the belt and stuff, but the real heel turn happened when Cody chose to do a tag team with Roman Reigns.
Oh, okay.
But it was kind of pointless.
We've seen them team up a couple times before in times of peril. When all else failed, you know, they got together to make something work. And I love that when superpowers that are natural enemies are forced to combine strength to take on a greater threat.
Yeah, 2 rival heroes have to join forces to dispel the bloodline. But, like, I think it's like, why is he getting so upset? Like, why is he getting so upset?
Yeah.
You know, it's like he's almost too upset.
I know that John Cena isn't gonna magically have a heel turn in the final run, and you know what? Good for him.
He's probably gonna win a bunch of things.
Good, the whole fucking way for a 20-year career. Awesome job. But part of me is equally excited to see another heel turn that I know is coming. Cody Lander. Oh man, Cody Rhodes, Homelander.
Oh, you think he's gonna go turn heel?
Definitely gonna turn fucking heel.
How long from now?
Undertaker talked about it on his podcast. Fuck.
Because the thing is, he's like the American hero right now. He sells the merch. He's everybody's favorite. Everybody waited for him to get on top. Now he's on top. You have to draw it out, like, because you put so much effort into making that happen.
You're thinking, like,
so you're probably a heel turn, dude, is gonna happen in years from now, like maybe even a decade, like probably 5 years, five years.
I don't know. After going through so much to complete the story, which was really completing Act 2, let's say. Or Act 3?
Act 1, I would say that's completing Act 1 to me.
Act 1 to me was Stardust.
I think
Act 1 was Cody with the plastic face mask.
Act 1 for me involves Stardust leaving, going to AEW, and then coming back as the American Nightmare.
Okay. If we're treating that like Act 1,
I'm treating. You have to think about how big the scale of his story is going to be, and that's just like, this is just the first part of the story. That's part of the story is him coming back. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It won't be a while. It'll be a while before we see him. But the Undertaker, I think he's gonna come and be a regular, like a person that runs a team, like a new faction.
Sure.
They split up the Judgment Day. Judgment Day is basically still around, but it's gonna be done pretty soon, wouldn't you think? Yeah. Damian Priest got moved over to SmackDown. And if you follow Raw in the Judgment Day, they're beefing. It's like split down the middle. Carlito doesn't matter. It's basically JD and Finn, and then Liv and Dominic Mysterio, and then just floaters. So you can't really have a faction where you have somebody that's just trying to run the faction and be the leader of a factionless, leaderless faction. Like it's stupid.
Can we go back to Cody for a second? Yeah. So Roman Reigns was like #1 heel and held the belt for 3.5 years essentially.
I don't think you know.
I saw him absolutely as a heel.
You did?
Yes,
The crowd would boo him religiously.
He wasn't a heel in the sense of like Dominic Mysterio.
Refunds. I mean,
for like a decade, for like 10 years, he was everyone's favorite.
But when he held the belt,
and he was a face.
Man.
Yeah.
When he held the belt, he
what?
was a heel. Do you agree with that? When he held the
yeah,
belt,
under Paul Heyman, he was probably a heel.
So he.
That's late Roman Reigns. That's
he
like
held the belt for 3.5 years.
Not at the beginning of holding the belt. I'm talking like when Paul Heyman was his manager belt holding. That's a big different timeline. That's when he became a heel, is when management got involved, Paul Heyman. But really, he's a face. He is a face.
I'm Googling some answers on this.
No, he's always been a face, Mariah. He was everyone's favorite from the Shield.
Bullshit!
He was everyone's favorite from the Shield. No?
He was everybody's favorite from the Shield.
Yeah, and
Sure.
that's what. Okay, so then the company,
team of 3 bad guys.
the company was
come
separating
on.
the Shield to promote him, and then just for 8 years he held the belt. There's a reason he holds it for 8 years, not because he's a bad
because
guy.
he wrestles once every 2 months.
Yeah, well,
because he gets crowds to chant that they hate him and
No,
that
but
they
everyone
want
loves
refunds.
him though. But everyone loves him.
But they loved him before Cody got.
Well, then why are they chanting that they hate him?
They
Roman
don't.
sucks. Fuck you, Roman.
But
we
they
want
aren't.
refunds.
Cody
But they're
got-
not.
They are.
But they're not.
Documented
As
fucking
soon as
history.
Cody got involved, he became a heel. True or
Not true. Not true. I think it's just focus has been shifted as far as the company and what they're trying to project onto the audience. So they're trying to make both Cody and Roman their 2 big boys at the top. That's what they're trying to do. Trying to make them both everyone's favorite. I don't think he's a heel, and I don't think they're going to turn him into a heel. I think he's going to be a good guy for forever. I don't know about this heel thing. I don't know about this heel thing you guys are talking about.
How about when The Rock had to come
Okay, so you're
out
talking about the short
and
film.
Paul
Paul Heyman.
supporting him?
Right, okay.
10 years ago.
But prior, so 2014, okay? Prior to 2014, he was a heel. 2014 to 2020, he was a face, and he turned back into a heel in 2020.
The thing is, everybody likes him. He sells merch, and it's for views. And really, they're not gonna make him a bad guy. It's not.
Not anymore.
The Rock comes out. The people are cheering for The Rock. They're happy right now.
So this is what starts like the whole bloodline thing, right?
So was he just a heel as the leader of the bloodline, the OG bloodline?
No, he developed.
For the crowd, boo!
Trying to hold the
Yeah.
production going corporate. That's what I'm saying. He's still everyone's favorite. So.
Roman just getting booed and booed and booed.
He never did get a heel pop.
Now they're cheering for Rusev.
He's not like that because he's everyone's
Here's the
favorite as
boos.
well.
Ooh, see? Ooh, everybody.
People genuinely hate Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah,
What's the
hard
sign? They
nose,
boo
yeah.
even louder. I love that the WWE Network here censors the crowds chanting "We want refunds" and tapes over them for this fit. In the original, it's there. 50,000 people booing Roman Reigns and now booing The Rock. Listen, The Rock even looks confused. Like, why are you booing it? Listen to them. He was the most hated superstar, the biggest heel, the most hated superstar for 6 fucking
so-
years. For
I think
a
you're all-
6-year stretch,
So
Tyler, he
Dennis,
was the
what you're
most
showing
hated
me,
fucking guy.
that is what you're showing me is one moment
Yeah.
that the audience didn't like the story going in that direction. It's not that they don't like the guy. It's that they don't like the story going in that direction. Let me tell you. let me tell you, brother. So
Roman Reigns booed out of arena. A&E biography. WWE anti-Roman Reigns crowd after WrestleMania non-PG 7 years ago. First one was was 9 years ago.
Yeah, things happen. Like, people will be booing Cody for random
Roman
things.
Reigns booed out of the 2017 Hall of Fame. Getting booed out of the fucking Hall of Fame. Roman Reigns booed after defeating The Undertaker 4 years ago.
So you know why?
Roman Reigns booed after Raw new general manager Kurt Angle, April 3rd, 2017.
All right, now what
He's
I want
been
you
booed in every fucking arena for
now,
a
Dennis,
7-year stretch.
but Dennis,
Tyler. He was
now
booed.
Dennis, I want you to search up for me what years did he hold the Universal title, the undisputed championship title? How many years in a row?
So 2018 to 2024, from October till April. So that's 6.5 straight years with him as champion.
And before
the
that,
3 years
he still had
and the
the
3
belt.
years leading up to it were when he was booed the loudest and the hardest, and they gave him the belt for nothing. They gave him a push.
And that's the thing. For 8 years, they keep giving him the belt. It's like, it's the
And
stupidest
that's
thing
why
in the
people
world.
keep booing him.
Honestly,
I love Roman
okay,
Reigns
hold on. I'll
as
tell
a
you.
heel because that's what he is.
So Dennis, I go to the shows. Back in the day, like 2010 and everything, I remember being in the audience and me hating Roman Reigns because I never liked them. But the audience, it was their number one guy. Everyone's pushing Roman.
You're kind of right. Like, it said within a
In
week.
2010?
So, in 2020, that's when he returned to WWE, so he did take a leave. And then within a week, he got the Universal title belt, and then he turned into a heel after he got the belt. So you are right that people just didn't want him to have the belt.
Absolutely.
But, like, I wouldn't say he was the greatest heel ever, because he doesn't get a pop like Dominic Mysterio gets the biggest pop.
He's more of like he's the guy to edge the audience. He's edging the audience. So everybody wants like, oh, their person that they like to win. But no, WWE will make whoever they want win. So it doesn't matter what you want. So they're going to make Cody win for the next like 5 years. Like, it's going to be stupid, man. It's going to be stupid. It's really
you think
based
Cody's
off...
going to get that long of a stretch?
So
the Attitude Era, the belt would jump around.
Dude, these days it's different. It's about legacy. So it's about what kind of imprint you can make on the company. But you can only make an imprint if you sell enough merch and you're that popular. Cody Rhodes does both. He's like...
Yeah, consistent.
He's going up there and he's staying up there. So they're going to keep him up there for a while. But what you're going to see with Roman Reigns is a comeback. They're going to split up the bloodline. Solo, it's going to be a whole story with Solo splitting up the evil bloodline. Them trying to be family of Samoans. That's all going to happen soon too. I heard that they're splitting up the bloodline.
They want to actually make a bloodline belt. So, I don't know.
Didn't hear that. I've never heard any bloodline belt, but I heard that they were actually going to dismantle the bloodline, put Jacob Fatu on his own, make Tama Tonga maybe go on his own and do his thing. And
to put a nail in the coffin on my point of how much of a heel he was and how hated he was before he ever took that leave.
What? What do you mean? As the Shield?
So right after the Shield, when he had started to do his own thing, and he went his own direction, he came out eventually when he was champion, Universal title, when he relinquished it. When he came out, people were booing him. Then when he grabbed the mic and said, "I'm actually just a guy named Joe, and the truth of the matter is I have leukemia, and I have to take some time off to go and fight it," that is when everybody turned and said, "Holy fuck, let's take the boos away." Because they booed him on his way down the fucking ramp, not knowing that he was going to say, "I have leukemia, I'm leaving to go and fight this." That's a pretty serious thing outside of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But on the show, up until that fucking moment, while he was walking down the very ramp, he was getting booed. He was the ultimate fucking heel.
Up until...
For 3 years until that moment. Then when he came back, he was still a heel, but we loved him because he came back and he beat cancer. And they gave him the strap.
Will you admit that they liked that the audience and everybody liked him when he first got the belt and for a long while?
And for a good long while, yeah.
Yeah, and then Paul
Then he got
Heyman...
greasy and started cheating, and then he got handout after handout after hand out.
You know, yeah, exactly. And then he started cheating, and then
Yeah.
he gets a manager, Paul Heyman, to get him the good spots and to keep
Yes,
other people
yeah.
away and to create a faction of defense bodyguards and yeah.
Totally, yes.
That's
Kind
that
of
was
like the Four Horsemen. With
that's
Flair and the
arguably
Boys.
like a heel
Like
turn,
that.
but you could also argue that Triple H did the same thing, which he was kind of a heel a little bit.
Yeah, Evolution. He did the exact same thing.
He did exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. The Four Horsemen, Evolution. Today we have now that what the fuck's it called? Not the Shield. What's his new group? The Tribe?
Yeah, OTC.
Yes. Now that they kind of have two tribes going on that were fighting each other and breaking up,
Which
what's
is going
on?
to turn into one faction, I think.
WWE has discussed introducing a Tribal Chief Championship into the storyline between Roman and Solo, similar to the People's Championship presented to The Raw.
I would say we already got that with the Ulafala, the chili peppers. That's the belt.
Yes.
Maybe they just want to keep it going because I don't know why.
Then just use the Ulafala. Use the chili pepper necklace.
Wasn't that thing broken?
What did The Rock hand to Cody after WrestleMania before he left? He put something in his hand, and Cody closed his hand on it. And he said, "Don't ever break The Rock's heart again."
Did we
I have a
officially
really
ever
good
find
idea
out?
what's in there. Huh?
Did we officially ever find out?
Oh, I love that we didn't. And I'm almost certain of what it was.
Yeah. Do you want to tell Mariah she doesn't know?
Yeah. I'm almost certain that is the what's it called? The Hall of Fame ring of Cody Rhodes' dad. And because he was the last one, The Rock was like the last person to train with his dad before his dad's passing, when Rock initially kind of entered into the roster, being a third generation superstar himself. And this is kind of at the time of early super young Orton as well. But they were both trained under Cody's daddy. So it's debated that he gave him such a sign of respect to give him his dad's retirement ring that was given to The Rock.
Yeah, Mariah's just checking if they ever mentioned recently, but they still haven't mentioned.
God, I hope they will. That would be great to
So,
bring up.
It says The Rock told Cody to open your hand and take your gift back, and The Rock hinted that he was returning something that Cody had previously given to him, and it's speculated that the gift was one of the Rolex watches that Cody gave to Seth Rollins before the main event of WrestleMania.
I think you're mixing a couple things because that watch was already given back as a gift.
Yeah.
No, that I think you're reading something that's mixing what we're talking about with another thing.
That's okay though. It's fun to learn about this stuff and to think about it and debate it and stuff like this.
So
is
Dennis,
awesome.
the story she's talking about is Dusty Rhodes. He sold his nice Rolex watch to be able to pay for I think something at the end of his life, because you weren't making a lot of money as a pro wrestler back in those days. Even if you're the top of the game, you're not making that much money. So he had to sell that to put his kid through college or to make money to travel somewhere. Either way, it was found out that they went to that pawn shop, they bought that Rolex back, they found it, they tracked it down, and then they gave it back to him in a box, a wooden box.
Different instances where The Rock handed Cody something.
I can't hear unless you grab the mic. Right, you gotta grab the mic.
So put your hand here. So this is the instance that we're talking about. He said, "Hey man," and he hands something to him, and then Cody looks down at this hand like, "What? There's something in there," and he's like, "Keep this."
Yes.
Yeah. You don't remember?
No, I do.
It was right after he won the Undisputed Championship.
Yes.
The first SmackDown or the first Raw right after. Yeah.
And just to highlight that whole story about the watch being sold, this was at a time when Rhodes was so hard that he was on hard times that he actually had to sell his car, and ultimately it was Paul Heyman that gave him that chance and that push and brought him back and got him back on his feet, and Paul ultimately was thanked by Cody. Cody said that very story in the ring on a live mic, and he thanked him while Paul was trying to be tough and stern, and the tribal chief is my leader, and and then Paul was starting to break down a little bit because of how fucking personal Cody made it to bring up a story like that about how Paul Heyman helped his family back then.
Yeah.
And he actually got like teary-eyed. It was a beautiful moment.
At what point did you see the watch being given back to Cody?
No, you don't see
We
what.
haven't.
The watch.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
whole segment. Yeah, that was a whole segment.
that was
There's a
different.
video
Yeah.
of them like Cody's standing there and Triple H is standing there, gives him a box and
Yeah.
he puts it on the table.
Then other people
Yeah,
are getting
yeah.
it mixed up too, because all the answers I find on Google is like, oh, he gave him a watch, he gave him a watch, he gave him a watch.
It's an easy timeline mistake for people who have watched as long as we have. It's just that me and Tyler are obsessive and we're both a little bit, on the what's it called? On the Spectre? We're on the Spectre for wrestling.
Probably on the Spectre. Like James
we're
Bond.
edging for our wrestling history. We edge.
If
We
you-
edge on history.
If you give me a timeline past WrestleMania of last year, I could probably tell you almost every single thing that happened between then and now. So
Pretty cool. I like that.
Who's your favorite wrestler on SmackDown's roster and your favorite wrestler on Raw's roster right now?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I don't know who's on either fucking roster. I know that they're on SmackDown and all the shows are all on Netflix and all the shows are live now and commercials have been replaced with disgusting advertisements on the fucking mat.
Oh, this is Mariah's favorite.
So Raw actually does not have any commercials whatsoever. So we get to see when they go off air to Americans. Americans get all the commercials. We don't get any commercials. SmackDown puts me to sleep almost every single time. I cannot stay awake because we have 5 minutes of elevator music with like photos of like Cody Rhodes and like yeah. I literally fall asleep every single time. I cannot stay awake. But Raw, I'm all for because yeah. But thankfully, Raw, at least anywhere outside of the US, we don't get any commercials and we just get the show straight through. So.
Ugh. Kidding you.
Look at Carlito. Dude, you have a wrestling cat, man. Carlito.
Wrestling tiger. I'm a crazy tiger. Good boy.
Aw. So, I mean, there's some really good wrestlers. I like Shinsuke.
Yeah. Very
Nakamura.
underrated. He's fantastic.
Dude, his comeback as the new demon, possessed samurai demon, is really cool. LA Knight's pretty cool just because he's a mixture of every best wrestler that ever existed with a cool gimmick.
Yeah.
Mixed into one. He's like Stone Cold, The Rock, like Shawn Michaels. He's everyone mixed into one. It's so good.
I love Chad Gable finally getting "You Suck" chants now that he goes out there and they're chanting "You Suck."
Did you watch his match with Penta, the new Lucha Libre?
I was gonna say
No, I
Penta
have
is
not.
like the
Is it good?
sickest wrestler. He's only had like 2 matches, but like Penta's whole everything is so good.
Does he do that crazy handstand in the corner move?
The handstand in the corner, like on the.
Is that him? He does a handstand on the top rope in the corner and then drops
Yeah.
like a missile drop or something? That's him?
He's pretty wild, man. He's very flippy.
I haven't
He's-
seen him. I'm
Well,
asking if that's him. I don't know.
That's kind of a move that all luchas do, is it not?
He.
Rey Mysterio does it. No?
No, he doesn't.
I thought he does.
No.
Somebody else does. I don't know who it is.
Okay, but the thing is, so Chad Gable, right, in the last episode went to Dominic Mysterio, and he's like, dude, I had so much trouble with Penta. I need to learn like the magical, like I need to know about Lucha Libre. Can you point me in the right direction? And then Dominic Mysterio's like, well, I know someone who can teach you the dark arts of Lucha Libre to Chad Gable. So we might get maybe a Juan Cena Chad Gable situation. A wrestling school in Mexico called the Dark Art Magical Dark Art Lucha Libre School, and
Sure.
there's a lot of famous luchadors that come from there. So he's giving the number of someone that runs that gym.
It's going to be Jack Black. I'm calling it.
I think it's Juan Cena, dude. I want to see him go to John Cena and then be like, dude, wait, how do I be a lucha? And he's like, dude, do what I did.
What do you think about the new independent small wrestling circuit with certain wrestlers like Kane in his new variations.
So you're talking about all the. So what ones do you? I follow a lot of other independent promotions. They're called promotions. What ones do you follow?
I'm talking about cocaine.
Cocaine. What about black cane?
Oh yes, black cane.
Dude,
I love that cocaine has the coke slam instead of the choke slam.
See, that's JCW.
Where he reaches into his pants and he pulls out a little baggie and he's like, he's got an 8-ball. He just fucking he rips the bag open and all the white powder's falling on him and he fucking loses his mind. That's cocaine.
So that guy is touring all the small promotions. That guy's doing a tour and joining a lot of different promotions. I forget his real name, but he has a real name. He looks like a hippie, like a dirty hippie, outside of his mask and everything. But basically, what I watch him on is called JCW. Have you ever seen this?
JCW. I don't know it.
So Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's run by Violent J.
Dude, no, it's not.
Yeah, dude, it's run by the ICP. It's a really good wrestling promotion, believe it or not. Like it's up there with like WWE. Basically, with more swearing, more ridiculousness, a really fun audience that like throw shit at the wrestlers and talk shit to them, and so that's where cocaine is from. He's from JCW. So
I love that.
Dennis, let me tell you, they have another wrestler called Santana Jackson, who's a guy that looks like Michael Jackson, and he goes out in the ring and he gets his ass beat, but then he puts on a Thriller werewolf mask and he becomes Thriller and he goes super powered and he can beat any wrestler.
What the fuck is this?
JCW, dude. You should watch it, man. Yep.
He's wearing like a green wolf's head mask. Like, and Michael Jackson's red, like, actual vest from fucking Thriller. Oh my god.
And that's just a few of the wrestlers.
Incredible.
It gets wild, dude, because then you go to their mainstay wrestlers. They have like two clowns that wrestle. They have a guy who's called Richie Rich, who's like this heel that nobody likes, and he's just like a rich ghetto guy who thinks he's better than everyone.
Did you and your buddies ever do backyard wrestling growing up as a kid?
I ended up splitting my tooth from hitting it on cement from backyard wrestling. Right
Holy
here.
fuck!
Yeah, I had to go and get surgery on my teeth after that.
What was your biggest some of your biggest bumps?
So I would say
I
used to do a special called the Fuck You Debbie, where I would sing Guess Who's Back by Eminem, and then I would say Fuck You Debbie, and I'd just like slam on bitches.
Yeah. Did you do any high risk shit? Like, I know you fucked up your tooth there, so you didn't like jump off ladders or anything?
And this is the thing about wrestling. No, I didn't know how to do anything. I wasn't doing anything crazy. I literally got pulled down and I had to act like I was like I was knocked out. But the simple act of being pulled from one level to another level, I hit cement with my teeth.
Fuck.
Dude, if you talk to any wrestler, the hardest bumps they take are usually things that don't look great on camera, that don't look like it hurt.
Yeah. I have some huge high risk
what did
stories,
you do,
man?
Yeah.
Fuck. Me and Justin LaForge.
Good old Justin.
Evan was there. Super tall Evan, may he rest in peace,
R.I.P.
brother. Me, Jason Ellis, Justin LaForge, Evan, and Sean. I can't remember his fucking last name.
I know the Sean.
Who was,
I know Sean.
You do know the Sean. Yes.
I was we tried to be in a band. We played music together at Jam Space a bunch. Yeah.
Just didn't work out time wise and everything. This, that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Life.
Anyway, we would do all kinds of matches, and my sister would be the cameraman. We had a camera that was so big that it was like half the size of her because she was so fucking little back then. And it would take like a full VHS that you would pop in, you could record for like a 60-minute Iron Man match with 4 guys or whatever. And I would always be the one taking the big bump or doing the big move that could go wrong. And somehow it always worked out pretty okay for me. And whoever I was landing on, it didn't work out that well for them.
Was it on mattresses? Like, what did you set up? Because when we were wrestling, it was just grass. Like, to be honest, in a field with a video camera.
Oh fuck, man!
With a video camera. So.
We would we went over to my buddy Eric's house one day, Eric Bleasdale, and his mom had a brand new king size fucking bed, like king size, like a huge bed. And she had like a dresser over here that was about 7 feet tall. And, you know, it was a big bed and a big room and a big house. It was just, everything was big there. She was a nurse and she was on midnight. So we're like, let's use this huge bed because, you know, we're all like 11 years old or whatever as like our, and this was in early backyard wrestling days.
Totally.
We were 11 years old.
Dude, we all.
But when you
I think
climb
we all
up on
tried.
top of that thing, you do a swanton onto your buddy because his mom's working midnights as a nurse, and you go through the fucking bed. Oh shit. It's it's a recipe for fucking disaster. But in terms of painful bumps, I used to drink a lot of cans of V8, the vegetable juice, and I accumulated like 3 different cases because we had Pepsi and Coke, and I remember there was just a ton of fucking V8, and I did a swanton onto Justin, but he moved, and I knew he would move. It was the thing, and we had seen people land on the thumbtacks at the time. There was no fucking way I was gonna do that. We wanted the loud sound and the crunch, so I did it, and it almost worked. Like some of the cans had split in a way that they were sharp on the top, and it got right into my fucking back, and I was like, oh man!
Oof.
And it wasn't that bad. I needed stitches only twice, and it was like 3 little stitches. Big fucking deal, kid. Come on, you're tougher now. Go.
That's still mad.
But it was
damn.
and the biggest bump in terms of scale that I did, we had like a dirty old fucking mattress that somebody had thrown into an alley on Victoria Street, and I jumped off of the backboard on top of a basketball net onto Justin, who was on he was laying over a trash can, but not a metal trash can, like a plastic kitchen trash can. So I went into him onto the mattress, and then the springs bounced me up, and then I landed on the concrete. It hurt like a bitch, but it wasn't like the end of the world. But that was like my biggest backyard wrestling move.
That would hurt. That would really hurt.
It was fun, man.
If you want to see a really good thing, like a guy taking bumps, check out Superhuman with 2 M's.
That guy's
Yeah, he's my idol, dude.
whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Oh man,
he's a juggalo, man. Again, juggalos love wrestling, man.
Right.
So as far as promotions,
juggalettes, I get it now.
So as far as like promotions go, like I think JCW is a really good one. I've been following Micro Wrestling Federation, which is midget or little people.
Mike who? It cut out. Mike who?
It's called Micro Wrestling Federation.
Oh,
so,
micro.
So little people.
No shit.
Yeah, dude, it's a really good promotion
Micro
if you just want to see like little people wrestle, and they have like a really good story.
The attitude adjustment on somebody, you know, from like back in the day, maybe 7 years ago or something, but it was fun. I'm like, holy fuck, Hornswoggle doing an attitude adjustment. That's cool.
Hornswoggle, dude, what a legend.
Like 4'1" and he's tough as nails. Love that little bastard.
And then there's also a new promotion that I just found out about maybe a week or 2 ago. It's called the Lingerie Wrestling Federation or something, where it's all women in lingerie.
I'm no longer interested in the Micro Wrestling Federation.
Dude, it's so good. But cocaine, dude, did you see Stephen Flo? Stephen Flo?
Yes!
Dude.
Every word in the song.
Stephen
Holy
Flo.
fuck, man.
I think that guy's on JCW as well.
Honestly, this Lingerie Wrestling Federation, it just looks like a Sabrina Carpenter concert. That's all it looks like to me.
Pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of awesome wrestling out there. It just depends what you're really into, what you want to watch. I tried NXT. It's a bit boring. Hard to consume. But
the closest I've ever seen to a wrestler actually for real die in a match is not mentioned on any podcast, on anything. It's like it went under everyone's fucking radar, and I'm cuckoo or something for fucking spotting it. Tajiri, WrestleMania 21. If you download it today, you can watch WrestleMania 21. But if you bought the DVD like I did way back before WrestleMania 21 starts, they have a battle royal match with every person who won't be in WrestleMania 21, so that all 60 of those guys can have a spot.
Okay.
Tajiri is running at a dude in the corner, and he gets launched up, and he goes over the top rope, no problem. And on the bottom, his hands are on the stairs, and as he lands from that huge drop, the corner of the step, the very fucking corner, is like touching his eyebrow. That's how close it was. And I played it in like super slow motion. I'm like, if that was 1 centimeter more, his skull would have shattered in. Like it was so unbelievably close of a fucking call to death.
Some of those hits are real, man. Like
that was fucking terrifying. I'll see if I can find that and take a screenshot of that moment.
I was gonna say it's probably on Netflix. Fun fact: Tajiri's still wrestling, and there might be a comeback.
I know. I want to see the tarantula. Do it to Braun Strowman. Fuck him.
So Shinsuke Nakamura does the same thing where he spits in people's faces. Black goo.
I've seen that too.
So
I
like that. I like
Black
that.
Mist, or what do they call it?
I think so. The Black Mist or the Black Poison or the Oil Slick.
I know Tajiri always did the green mist, and then in moments of peril, he would do the red mist.
Dude, he
It
would
was
usually
like,
do
"Whoa, red!"
There were some matches where he'd do the green one early on in the match, and then you're like, he ain't got any more in his mouth, and then by the end he's got red shit. You're like, what?
Yeah.
And dude, this coming Saturday, so again, next Saturday, Royal Rumble is the big pay-per-view. Like that's the best event of the whole year, next to SummerSlam and WrestleMania.
Yeah. Every year I have a party and a WrestleMania party. This year will not be an exception. I'm stoked for the Royal fucking Rumble.
Again, we could always do that, turn that into a live kind of recording reaction.
That's a good fucking idea, but I might live stream from like inside a bar or something. I don't know. Wait, you have Netflix. Are you able to pull up that match?
It would have to be on the TV, but
Raya, see if you can find it.
Well, I'm gonna check it out later and then
Well,
come back to
I'm
it.
curious in general if it even exists or if it's only what they record and not the pre-shows. To any of the pay-per-views, because there's always a pre-show when people are filling up the arena. It's not like they just kick off and the arena is already full. They have matches going on while people come in. Fuck.
And that's the thing, honestly, it's hard to remember exact matches. I'm not Jim Cornette. You know Jim Cornette?
Yeah.
I'm not Jim Cornette. You're not Jim Cornette. We don't remember like what match happened when exactly. Like I didn't watch it that hardcore. And even if I did, I probably wouldn't.
That guy, he's disgusting. He doesn't bathe.
That guy, dude, have you seen his room upstairs in his house?
Not one bathroom in that house, but yeah.
Dude, up there probably stinks so bad, man. But it's just wrestling shit like all throughout the top like attic of his house. It's insane. You could tell him like, hey, when did this happen? And then he'd be like, oh yeah, that happened at this time. It was like the third thing on the card. He is like
RVD using baby powder on his armpits instead of deodorant to mask his weed. Did you see that today?
I didn't see that. No.
Maven posted a fucking video today. It's a Maven video. He's awesome.
I got that opened up on the other tab, so I'm gonna watch that probably like in a bit, or maybe tomorrow. It's pretty late, but
oh, definitely, it's getting real late for you guys over there, time zone wise too. So we should probably wrap this up. But long story short, RVD didn't like the gel deodorants on his armpits because he would shave and then he would get ingrown hairs and he hated it, so he let his hair grow and then the gel would bother him. So he just started using fucking baby powder. And Maven mentioned it one time, like 10 years ago, and his joke didn't land because he was talking about the smell of weed.
Oh, okay.
And RVD and everybody thought he meant that he was talking about RVD having BO. And it's like, no, man, he smelled like weed. Yeah, pretty fucking cool.
Damn, man.
All right, brother.
Good stories with RVD.
Let's wrap this fucker up. Yeah. This was fun, dude.
This is good. And
this is a long one.
Now that we're doing it different, we're doing a different format. This will be better.
Yeah.
From here on out, it'll just go up and better. It'll get better and better.
Hell yeah. So. Dude, I love you, brother.
I love you too.
Have a fucking awesome rest of your night and a kick-ass day tomorrow. And we shall resume our podcast again soon. Woo!
Wait, I did the Elon Musk.
Oh, the Roman salute. The one that we've seen Kamala use and Clinton use and Obama use. They've all used it, but if Elon uses it, it's a Nazi salute. It's no longer Roman.
Dude, it's funny
Yeah,
how
yeah.
there's like a weird online media hit out for Elon. It's like everybody on the internet, there's a vibe that there's a hit on to disparage his name and like ruin him. It's weird.
Yeah.
Internet will internet, right?
Internet will always internet, brother. God damn.
All right, dude.
All right. Cheers, buddy. Peace. Woo.